Greg Abbott is now facing accusations that in addition to the deaths that occurred during the horrendous winter storm last year when the Texas power grid failed, predictably because regulations were not in place to force them to weatherize against the weather that was coming, not only did people die, but there were also, in the wake of it, incredibly high energy costs. Who's responsible for that? Well, according to people who would know, Greg Abbott himself. And he is now being attacked over this issue by people like Beto O'Rourke, who of course is hoping to unseat Greg Abbott, with Beto O'Rourke saying this governor isn't looking out for us. He said Abbott screwed us and he'll continue to screw us until we vote him out. And so what is this all about? Well, Bill Magness is the former CEO of what's known as ERCOT, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, that said that as power plants were starting to come back online, Abbott said we need to do whatever is necessary to stop more blackouts. So what we do is we absolutely jack up power prices. And so they went at one point, people are saying as much as 100 times the occasional minimum price. That was according to him. Now, I like the idea of not wanting there to be blackouts to stop people from dying. There are, let's admit, other ways to do that, including putting the financial onus not on the buyers of the energy, but on the providers of it, having them actually weatherize their system so that they can survive this sort of weather. But that is not the direction they went in ahead of this storm, and they haven't done it in the year since either, Jeff.
Yeah, you know the funniest thing about that name is it's the Reliability Council.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very reliable. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever there's just a tiny flurry, it seems like that power system just inevitably implodes, and people are stuck holding the bag, holding the bill. And again, it's because of Texas's deregulated power grid, making sure that these power providers can jack up the price as much as they want, and no one will put a stop to it. And apparently, Greg Abbott thinks, "Hey, that's great. Yes, let's gouge the people during an emergency. Wonderful, but we're only doing it so that we can keep the power on. Really, you can't keep the power on without jacking up the price? Is that a prerequisite? Like, oh, sorry, I can't push the button, the hypothetical button to keep the power on, unless we jack up the price to an incredibly expensive, thing where nobody will be able to actually afford, and will make me look terrible. But you know what? Corporations, energy companies, we prefer them. So let's just go ahead with that. Great idea. Great.
And I'm sure people remember the absolutely massive bills that people were getting, because it's not like you, as the price was jacked up, you had to opt into the higher price. You just hit by absolutely massive bills. People in the chat are saying they're still paying double all this time after. And again, it's not just about this as the choice. It's that they ignored the warnings that came for years leading up to this. There had been other instances like this. They might not have killed 250 people or done nearly $300 billion in damage, but the warnings were out there. And to not make changes afterward is even more indefensible. This is an absolutely abhorrent position that he took. He has done nothing to make good on it. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.